Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks to The Hungry Gamer is back with another mini review, and today we are talking about Coloma. Now this is well, it's not an old game, it came out last year, but it was a big deal last year. Everyone loves Coloma. Everyone loved it. And I kind of missed the boat on it myself. And it just so happens that the designer, Johnny Pack, is relatively local to where I am. And he was coming to a local convention. And I reached out to him and said, hey, got any copies? Can I buy one from you? And he was nice to bring one down and be jealous. He even signed it for me. So anyhow, I got it, I was excited about it, and he was actually going to teach me how to play, and we were going to play, but then it was midnight, and I am now old, and I fell asleep. So I didn't get to play. Then I was like, all right, that's okay. But then, maybe a month later, lockdown hit. And though there is a solo mode in the game, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, I just haven't been able to play. Like, this is a game that everyone says 4, 5, 6 players is where it's at. So I just hadn't been able to play. However, finally, I got my vaccine. I've had both of them. My wife has had her first, and we actually took a little trip to a cabin out in the woods for a little vacation, and we wound up 40 minutes away from Coloma. Coloma, the name of the game, Coloma, and I happened to mention it to Johnny. Johnny said, I'm nearby. So he came out, we met outside, literally in Coloma, right near Sutter's Mill, on a picnic table, masked up outside, and we played. Then came back home, and then as people were starting to get vaccinated, actually seeing people is happening again, and I was able to play again a few more times with some more people. And so now I finally have gotten to experience this game. And the question was, would I like it? Because I'm on record as loving Merchant's Cove. Now, Merchant's Cove is not just a Johnny Pack show, right? It's Johnny Pack, it's Drake Villarreal, and it's Carl Van Ostrand as well. So that's a group effort. But really like that one. And I like Sierra West. And so out of all of Johnny's other games, the consensus seems to be that Coloma is the best. So where does it stack up for me? Now, I just gave you a huge intro just to be able to now tell you what Coloma is. Coloma is a Euro worker placement, action selection style game in which each player will be secretly selecting where they're going to put their worker each round and put it on a wheel. And once everyone has revealed, we're going to see which of those 5 spaces has the most people on it. Whichever space has the most people on it, it's going to slide this little magnetic token around that's going to block off half of the actions because you busted. Boom or bust. Gold rush. And you're playing through, and these 5 actions are going to let you do a whole bunch of different things. They're going to allow you to use your resources, use your money, your gold, your dudes. They're literally called dudes. This isn't just me being living in California saying dudes, everything's a dude. No, literally they're called dudes, who are going to be, you're going to use those, and you're going to use them to build buildings. As you're building buildings, that's creating this tableau out in front of you. And of course, every time you use one of the 5 actions on the wheel, it's going to fire off additional actions on your tableau. In addition to that, maybe you're going to be building rivers out to connect to your town and get more water. By doing that, it's going to get you points. It's going to get you more resources. Or maybe you're going to build a bridge over the water. You build the water, then you build the bridge over, which is going to give you in-game scoring conditions. Or maybe you're going to go up to this little map up in the corner and you're going to kind of travel around to all these other frontier towns, Georgetown or Hangtown. Hangtown is actually a place. It's called Hangtown. And as you're doing that, that's going to get you more resources and allow you to take your tents and put your tents out there as you're kind of checking out these different regions. And of course, that's going to be more in-game scoring. Maybe you're going to take your tents and you're going to put them around the wheel, which is going to give you more bonuses as you play through each round. Then, of course, at the end of each year, there's got to be a gunfight, right? We're talking Old West, Gold West. Of course, there's a gunfight. And so you got all this gold, so clearly bandits are going to be showing up as you go through the game. And so part of your turn is everybody has to participate in this gunfight. So you're going to be sending people out to participate in this gunfight. And if you have more fighters than bandits, then you're going to win. And whoever has contributed the most gunmen to fight this gunfight is going to get the most points at the end of the turn. And if you don't participate, some of your dudes just die. Literally, they die. They go into the graveyard with negative points. And you're to play through 3 years. Each year is 5 turns. So you got 15 turns to do as much as you can. High score wins. So, what do I like about this game? First, it's a great production. I don't have the deluxe. I just have the basic version, and it is a very nice production. The wheel in the middle, it spins, but it's magnetized. It's very cool. It just kind of pops on there, and you move things around. It's a lot of fun to play with. Does it have to be magnetized? Probably not, but I'm glad it is. Don't take my magnets from me. I only want the magnets from now on. So it's a good production. The art, it's art by the Micho, and it's always fun. It is fun art. Everything is just, I'm not going to say it's a caricature, because caricature has that very specific style, but it's really, everything's over the top. Everything is exaggerated. It's fun, it's whimsical. I enjoy it. But the core of what I enjoy is the experience of the boom and bust. It's as you're picking that action in the middle and what you're going to do and where you're going to go and try to figure out what is the other player going to do across the table. Because you don't want to be on the space that busts, because it is somewhat crippling, because as I said, you only have 15 turns, which means you're taking 30 different actions, not counting whatever tableau you build that fires off that engine, but that's only 30 different actions that are going to happen. And so every time you bust, you're losing half. And that is tough. So you have to really kind of play the table a little bit and try to figure out what people want to do, what they need, look at what they might be trying to do based on what they have. But of course, they know that you know that they know that you know. So you kind of get in this little fun little loop, and really I feel like at the end of the day you really don't know what anyone is going to do, because everyone knows all of the same information. But along with that, as with a lot of Euro games, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of ways to score points. And what's fun about this one is, well, they're all fun. Every time I play, I try to figure out, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Do I want to do the map and kind of travel around the map? Because that is a lot of fun. You get all your horses, you're running around different towns, you're picking up all this stuff. It's great. Or do I want to try to build the in-game scoring conditions? Because that's really going to get me a lot of points at the end. Or do I want to try to build a bunch of buildings? Because they're going to give me more actions and give me points at the end of the game. Or maybe I want to really focus on always winning the gunfights. Or there's so many options, and all of them are satisfying. So again, really do like that. And it's something that I've said with a lot of Johnny's games before. And at Streamline Matt, he actually said this, and I stole it from him. There is an elegant simplicity to his games. Now, I said a whole bunch of different things that the game does and that you can do, but it's all so simple, and it all meshes together seamlessly. Really, 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 really clever. And so all around the gameplay, I really do enjoy it. It is truly, truly fun to play, and it's fast. Once everyone knows how to play, you're knocking this thing out in an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. I think the first time we played, there was only 3 of us. I still think we played in an hour and 45. It's not a long game. It goes quick, and when you finish, you always think, oh, I wish I just had one more round, which to me is how a game should be. You want to finish. You say, gosh, I wish I could play more. So all of that, it's just lovely, 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 lovely. So what are my quibbles about the game? And the first one is there's just a couple of small rules that I just wish were a little bit different. And I'm thinking about, there's a signpost on there which allows you to claim action that's next to it if the action next to it hasn't busted. And the way it's written, there's limitations that's set up that make it less useful than I feel like it should be. In the same vein, there are these barrel tokens that give you extra actions through the game, which I think are also great fun. And there's a signpost on there too. And again, because the signpost is so limited, it makes that feel like it's just not as good. Now, it's an easy house rule to fix, and heck, it's possible that it's just the way it's just written just isn't quite right. I don't know. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And the other bummer for me is the solo mode. Now, there's 2 bots you have to use to play solo. And one of them is called Buster. And Buster I love, but I think Buster is great. It's just you put out, there's 5 cards and a meeple, you deal out 2 of them, And that tells you he's not going to one of those two. Then you pick where you're going, and he deals out his third, and that's where he goes. So he just operates to bust you, hence Buster. Very clever. But the other one, I don't like very much. Now, to be clear about this, it's not saying that it doesn't work, because it does work. But the way it works is in a way that is, I want to say robotic. And I know it's a bot, so that makes sense, right? But what it does is it operates off of what Buster's doing, and so it never goes where Buster's going to go, and it feels like it's more of a puzzle that you have to figure out. And when I've now played it a few times, I feel like the only way for me to win is to attack the bot. And I don't feel that way when I play the actual game. When I play the actual game, I don't have to interact with everybody else in the sense that, we might bust, but it's very rarely that I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go to this place specifically to bust them. It's just not the game to me. And I also find it impossibly hard. I mean, I'm not good at games, but I've never scored within 30 points of the lowest score I've gotten when playing against the bot. And all of my games, not even within 30 points. And we're talking a game where you're going to score 120, 130 points. So that's a big margin. Now, there are people who I'm sure really like it because that's the type of bot that they like. For me, I want a bot that's going to be out there that I'm going to feel like I'm playing with somebody else, that they're going to make choices and it's going to feel like they have a different strategy every single time that they play. And I feel like this bot, it's always the same. And so to me, that is a bummer. That's a letdown for me. And the other thing that I wish that the bot could do is I wish it was something that you could then make a lower player count game a higher player count game, because that's going to dovetail into my other quibble about the game, and that is it plays best with more players. And so for me, from when I play moving forward, if we play with 3, I'm going to put Buster in there because it just tightens that space and it tightens who's going to get the bust, and it makes it just more exciting because when you have enough players out there and you really don't know, am I going to bust this time? And you're trying to figure that out, it is exciting. And then there's those moments when you flip Buster's last card, everyone reveals where they're going to go, and there's that moment of no! Or when we played with my buddy Bernie from Dead Alive Games, guy got busted 13 out of 15 turns. It was hilarious for us. It was even funny for him because it was just one of those things as, it was like, all right, who's going to bust me this turn? And it really, to me, works well at higher player counts. It doesn't work as well at the lower player count. But really, that's it, folks. This is a very good Euro game. It plays quick. It is streamlined. It has only a few things that I'd like to see maybe tweaked just a little bit if there's another reprinting. And by the way, I hope there is another reprinting of this game, especially now that we're able to get back together with more and more people. I think if you like Euro games and you like this style of game, if you like Lacerda style of games where there's a bunch of different engines going on all at once, if you are like another game that Johnny had a very heavy hand in, Endless Winter style game where there's a lot of different things happening at once, but they all come together and they come together really, really cleanly. And so this is a game that deserves all the accolades that it has gotten. Now, I know what the big question is. Do I like it better than Merchant's Cove? And the answer is I get the punt because Coloma is not as heavy a game as Merchant's Cove. Merchant's Cove has a lot. Everyone's doing their own thing. And so to me, it's a question of, well, it's not much a question because I don't have my Merchant's Cove yet. I'm dying for it to get here. But it's a question of, what do I want? Do I want that heavier thing where there is a bit of, I'm playing my own engine and I'm trying to make my engine better than your engine? Or is it we're all playing the same game here like in Coloma, and what are we going to do with it? And who's going to come out on top? Who's going to outthink the other? And do I want that chaos of the action selection wheel in the middle? Because there is more chaos to Coloma because of that busting mechanic. But there you have it, folks. That is Coloma. I'm really high on it. I think it is top 2 for Final Frontier games. Merchant's Cove, Coloma. And then all the other games that I played that I've liked of theirs, I don't know. I'd have to figure out where those rank later on. But it's a very good game. In fact, it is good enough that for the second time ever, I'm working on my own little bot that you can add into a game. I said I wish I had it, so quick gripe it and do it. So I'm actually trying to work out my own. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try. And there's lots of games out there that I wish I could play by myself that you can't. But I'm not making bots for them. I'm not attempting to do it. And to me, that's a sign that this is a game that's good. So if you can get a hold of it, I think do it if you like Euro games, especially if you're going to be able to get 4 people to the table. It's a good one. So there you have it, folks. This was the longest mini review I've done yet, but I like to listen to myself talk, I guess. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.